Now, here's Joe Cristiano.
Good evening, everyone. This is Joe Cristiano. Welcome to Liberty Talk Radio, and good evening, Sally Altman. How are you today?
Well, just fine, Joe. Thank you.
What's happening?
I'm wearing a special shirt today.
Let's see. What does it say?
It says
Hot and sexy.
that in quote marks.
What's that all about?
I'm hot. I'm just hot. Golly, it's hot. 108, 110. I can't stand it. For our people in Phoenix, oh my gosh, how do you live there? How do you do it all the time? 2 months we have this really bad weather. I can't take it.
It's
I'm
dry
dying.
heat. It's dry heat. You know, but
it's a wet heat here. It's humid, and you just want to hang yourself.
Well,
Hang in there, people.
Maybe
It's all right.
later on in the program we'll learn about the sexy part of it. Okay.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll talk about that. But
Okay.
Yeah.
What's hot? What's not, Sally? Other
well,
than you.
actually, what's really hot is the guy that had the shirt before me. He was a fireman, and he let me have the shirt,
right.
so it's very nice. So if there are any firemen out there, I want you to do something, please, just for me. I want you to call in, 855-866-1170, okay? If you're tall, dark, and handsome, or if you're short, cute, and funny, I don't care. If you're female, please call in. We got Joe here. Leftovers. But anyway, please call us, 855-866-1170, or send your comments to comments@libertytalkradio.com. That's comments@libertytalkradio.com. That gives us great fodder to work with.
You know, I get no respect. No respect at all from you.
That is so
None at
true.
all,
That's why I'm wearing this shirt
Yeah.
and these glasses. I'm just too cool.
You look cool.
Yeah.
You look cool. All right. What's hot?
Ouch.
What's not, Sally? What's happening this week?
Joe, there's just one thing right now that's on the news just constant. We can't avoid it. It's just horrible. It's a tragedy, and that's the shooting in Aurora, Colorado. And the more you hear, you're going to hear plenty on any of the other news sources, but we do send our condolences.
Absolutely.
God, what do you say? What do you say?
Yeah. Well,
Here we go.
a situation like that, it's difficult to make a comment about it because it's so highly charged emotionally.
Yes.
That when you want to discuss the issue around it, but not the people who are killed. Now, obviously, my heart bleeds for them. If I was there and my wife got killed, I wouldn't know what to do. I mean, I would think I would just die with the
Exactly.
thought of it. So believe me, I understand, and I think I sympathize, but I don't think I really do because I can't imagine how bad that is. I mean, you understand what I mean?
Exactly.
I understand and I appreciate how bad it is. It is a difficult subject to discuss because if you discuss it rationally, then some people may say, well, he's hard, he doesn't understand, what about the poor people? And you have to, if you discuss this, you have to divorce yourself from the actual act itself so you can discuss it rationally. Now, politically, we don't want to do that.
Right.
But politically, we want to bring in all the emotions, so that we can mold the situation the way politically the government wants it, and they take advantage. They take advantage of people's emotional, and when they're down the most, when they're really down on their luck, that's when they hit the hardest, and that's what really bothers me. And I'd love to make so many comments about this, but I ask your indulgence to please understand where I'm coming from, and with no disrespect to anyone, please. Especially to those
Exactly.
who had friends and families and loved ones in that theater at the time. All right. I guess. Well, what are you hearing now? I don't listen to the news so much. What type of
there's so
feedback
much,
you're getting?
so much out there, but it does. One thing that just always seems to crop up is gun control.
Right.
Would this have happened if?
Right.
Et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Well, that always comes up, and this is an excellent opportunity for all of those people who had bought into the system, the big system, the party that's going on that not even many congressmen and senators are involved in, those that are really trying to do a good job, and there are a handful of those guys, they're excluded. I'm talking those people who sold their souls to the system. They will want gun control. They want that, right? Because they're following orders from their masters. And there's a big problem. There's a big problem with that because, again, it seems like that's the solution. It's always an easy solution, and that's the one thing we should do. And if we were just decent human beings, we wouldn't have guns, and everything would be happy, and everyone would be happy, everyone would be safe, and that's it. and it's
Right.
not the case. And everyone knows
Never
that's
happened.
not the case, right? Let me put a different spin on this, and please, I apologize that I mean no disrespect. There are approximately 330 million people in the United States, right? Of the 330 million, how many you think are mentally unstable? I mean, I have no idea, but just a guess. Someone give me a guess. And someone call in and give me a guess. If someone knows, please, 855-866-1170. Call in and tell me if you know the number.
I would say it's a very small percentage.
Yeah, a small percent. Would you
Very
say
small.
1/10 of 1%?
Probably.
Right?
Yeah.
If you
Sounds
did,
good.
yeah, 1/10 of 1% of 330 million is how many people? I don't know. Is it
They-
3 million?
You're asking me math? Oh, please.
No, was it 3 million or 300,000? I'm just saying that
Mm-hmm.
it's a heck of a lot of people. A heck of a lot of people who are mentally deranged in one way, shape, or form. And how many of those mentally deranged people are really agitated and disgusted with our government and or disgusted with life? There's a lot of people out there. So when you see one person go on a rampage, you have to say that's a horrible situation. But it's one person out of 330 million. If you went to your doctor and said, "Doc, this operation, does it carry a risk?" The doctor would say, "Yes, it is." And you say, "Well, tell me, what are the odds?" They say, "The odds of something going wrong are 1 in 330 million." Would you feel pretty confident that you're going to come out okay?
You would
right?
feel
Now,
safe. Yeah.
conversely, if I wanted to sell you a raffle ticket, you say, "Hey, it's only $20 this raffle ticket, and you can for this car, this brand new Corvette." And you ask me, "What are the odds of winning?" I'd say 1 out of 330 million. I mean, other than buying it because you're my friend.
I've been there. I've been here. Yeah.
By the way, I have a raffle ticket for you. But would you really buy that ticket based on the odds?
You know what? No.
No.
I buy one now and then.
Yeah, well, you buy it because of a friend, but you wouldn't. In fact, if it was 1 out of 1,000, you'd say no.
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 So what I'm saying is that that statistically, this and please do not repeat what I'm saying incorrectly. This is statistically insignificant. So when we
Right.
say that there's someone who used a gun and killed a lot of people, something has to be done. It's statistically insignificant. If something is statistically insignificant, well, let me put it another way. Now, if a doctor said, "Well, Sally, you can have this life-saving operation, but the risk of something happening to you during that is 1 out of 330 million. So we're not going to operate on you. We're going to let
What?
you go, and most likely you'll die." Would you think that was a good risk?
What about my facelift? I've got to have that.
But you know what? Yeah,
Yeah.
you see what I mean?
Yeah.
You wouldn't say, "No, Doc, wait, no, I want to take that risk," all right? So, but when it comes to this stuff, when it becomes politically charged dialogue, they say, "Oh, gun control this, gun control that." But we never say, if it's not statistically significant, then should we do anything about guns? First of all, should we do anything at all? If you can't do one thing by the actions, you can't develop a correction, a human correction because of the actions of one person. I mean, you could imagine everybody
know
who's
what,
in jail
Joe?
would do something.
You know what? And this really gripes me. The guy who had the bomb in his shoes, and then you go to the airport, and we all have to take off our shoes.
Oh, take off shoes, right? Yeah.
This has happened so much. I mean, there's
Yeah.
been so many things that we do have to look over our shoulder for.
And
but
yeah.
it makes me angry.
Well, everybody's angry
Tired of
because
reacting.
because we have a legislator that has an agenda that doesn't include us. So everything they do is just not right. Right? I want to continue with this thing with the gun control stuff. Right? Right. But one statistic that is left out is we talk about, last year X number of people were killed, in some sort of shooting, a gun. What they leave out is that something like 90% of those people are gang related, pushing drugs.
Okay.
Well, in a sense, if you're a law enforcement agency, you're saying, "Hey, that's good. They're cleaning it out. They're cleaning their own blood." I mean, they're doing the job for us. So you can't include those people. Where is crime the highest in states like in the District of Columbia, our wonderful, our wonderful capital.
I think you lived in one of the
That's
highest
right.
crime areas.
Hey, I'm East Harlem
one
boy,
time.
man. You want to go to Bronx and you want to go to Prospect Avenue? I dare you to do that. Hey,
Not without
you
you.
guys from New York, let me tell you something. You remember Prospect Avenue and Simpson Street? I walked those streets. And there are not many people who did that and are still alive today. I know those streets.
I know
I
what
lived in
happened.
East Harlem.
People thought you were crazy and they didn't bother you.
Well, you know what? No, and that's the truth. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but actually that's the truth. What I did was so brazen that people were afraid of me only because they said, this guy being in this neighborhood at this time of night, he's got to be crazy. And they left me alone. Because of that. And that's the God's honest truth. Right, let me get back to this. Right. So you have all the cities that have strict gun control. They have the highest crime rates. They have the and they have the highest number of deaths by shooting by guns. So that shoots that out of the water. Then you have a situation where we never talk about the number of people whose lives are saved because they were carrying a gun. How many families were saved because they had a gun? And I will give you a personal experience. I'm a long distance biker. I haven't been lately because I got to get my knee replaced. But I was on this road. I was biking with a bunch of guys, but they were way ahead of me. And I was biking by myself, and I was on a shoulder. I won't tell you where I was because I don't want to cast any dispersions on any area, but it was West Side Tulsa. And I'm going down the road, and a pickup truck, all different colors, and I don't mean from the factory. I mean all different colors. In fact, they had a blue fender and a green top. I remember.
Kind of a homemade
and they
job.
whizzed by, and there was no one around. No one. Me and the road. This guy pulls up, and he pulls in front of me. They just blocked the whole road. They're perpendicular to the road, not nearly perpendicular to the road. And I'm looking at the guy. And this guy gets out and he starts walking slow. He wasn't looking for directions, I can tell you that. If he could have done that way back when, And you know what I did? I unzipped my jersey, put my hand on my chest where I was packing, my heat, right?
Heat.
Packing heat, and that's all I did. I can't. Someone's giving me. What are you saying? What? Oh, yeah, I have a concealed carry license. I was just corrected, All right,
better.
Yeah, all right. I'm legal and all that, And I never took the gun out of the chest holster, I just put my hand in there, and when I did, I made one action that scared the heck out of them. I smiled. The guy turned around. I'm not kidding. I've never seen a guy do this. He actually jumped through the window of the pickup truck, and the truck took off.
Wow.
Now that happened only once in 20 years of biking in that area, so I'm not going to say this,
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that we never include those. So we just take the 1 out of 330 million, you know how many they are, and we say that's why we need gun control. But what about literally the thousands on a daily basis that are saved, especially women who are alone, that are saved because they carry guns? We don't want to talk about that. So it's a skewed argument.
Yeah.
Now, the guy was carrying a AK-47, by the way, my favorite semi-automatic rifle.
What?
All right? He was carrying a shotgun. Everybody has a shotgun. Everybody and his brother, even people who don't have guns, they have a shotgun in the house in case of burglary.
We're in the
shotgun.
South.
Yeah. They have.
Oklahoma.
He had a
Everybody
9mm, the most popular round there is on a semi-automatic pistol, right? And a knife. Well, if you want gun control, and those are the guns you want to, you have to confiscate every gun out there because every gun revolves around those. Are you going to do that? And at what cost? It can't be. And who do you think? Now, I have a solution to the gun control problem. I think that the government should confiscate all the guns, everyone's guns. I really do. Now, I'm saying that. I want to go on record. The government should confiscate all the guns and destroy all of them. But there's a plan to it. Listen carefully.
Okay.
Right? The first thing the government has to do is get the guns from all of the criminals and gangs and drug lords. Get all those out. Now, once they're sure they have
Good
no
luck
guns,
on that.
once they have no guns, listen, once they destroyed all those guns and those guys are walking around like chewing gum saying, well, I can't do that anymore. I have no more guns. Once they get there,
What do we do?
then I want all the politicians to have no guns.
Oh,
Well, I don't know if the drug lords or the politicians, which one I would pick first. But let me, out of respect, out
Yeah.
of disrespect to the drug lords, I'll say politicians second.
Okay, yeah.
Disrespect. all
Yeah, right.
And then the politicians and all of the people that they have protecting them with guns, all those guns get taken away. And see this, and then when you get down to about level 5 or 6, that's me. Then you can have my gun. But before you do the first two, you don't touch me. All right? I'd like to
Right.
hear what you have to say about that. 855-866-1170. 855-866-1170.
call.
Give us a call. I'd like to get your response. I got a couple more
Now-
comments.
Okay.
And the politicians, they come out and says, we have to develop a peaceful world in which we're not afraid to leave our homes and not people have guns at all. And guess what? Which entity creates more harm to other people than any other entity in the world? Our own government. We take people in, we take innocent men and women, and we train them, what? To use guns to kill. We train them
Sure.
to be killers, all due respect to our soldiers. Don't get me wrong, please. I don't want to hear any email about that stuff, But I mean, we train them to, they have to go out, and then they are being instructed to say, you go there and you kill so-and-so in that village, we think he's an insurgent, and they have to go out, and most can't do it, but we force them to be killers. But then we say, at home we go, but we want to be a loving and peaceful world. The problem is that the government wants guns out of our hands. And let me give you a
Wonder
reason.
why.
Oh, let me give you a reason why. Yep. See, it's a matter of control. You cannot control the populace if the populace is armed. Period. I don't care what you say. You cannot control. Everyone knows this. Hitler knew this. That people had 9mm Makarovs. We have mostly 9mm Parabellums, which are a little larger round. They took all those away, and then after they took away, guess what? Into the camps, and people had no power anymore. The same thing. The Japanese, when they considered attacking or landing here in California, you know why they didn't do it? They said, sorry, too many Americans own guns. They knew it. They knew that. Here, let me give you a statistic. Which is the 7th largest army in the world?
the 7th largest. Russia.
All right, here it is. All right. Gun owners in Wisconsin.
What?
That's right.
Armies?
Now,
Oh
think
my
about it.
God.
There are 600,000 hunters who own guns in Wisconsin, right? Making them, just Wisconsin alone is the 7th, no, I'm sorry, correction, 8th largest army in the world, right? In Pennsylvania, there are 750,000, right?
What type of army are you talking about? Army?
No, just
mean,
gun owners.
Just owners.
Yeah, gun owners.
Okay.
Now, if they coalesced to protect their state or protect themselves, there's 750,000 and another 700,000, I think, in West Virginia. Those three alone comprise the largest armed army in the world. Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
Yeah. Now, that's only three. You can imagine you add everyone who owns a gun, you are talking hundreds of millions of people. Because there's hundreds
Right.
of millions of guns out there, all right? Now,
Then there's
with
people
that,
like me.
Yeah.
Uh,
But, most people, a lot of people just have a gun. They don't consider them gun owners, but they have a gun at home just in case, or they have a shotgun. They don't consider themselves a gun owner, right? All right. So when you consider that we have a relatively highly armed populace, the government can only do certain things, and they have to continually strive to convince people that guns are bad, guns kill, and if you give us your guns, it will be a peaceful world. People won't get hurt, but we'll still continue to take your children, bring them to war to kill other people. They will die and come back deranged, but that's for the glory. That's for the freedom of America. You see how wacko this whole thing is. This whole situation is absolutely wacko, and we
Well,
believe it.
Now, there are some of us out here that don't particularly love guns like you do. So what I suggest is have a whistle, or I carry a banana, an 8mm banana, and I keep it hidden. And like you and your bike trail incident, I just let them see that there's something there. That
An 8mm banana. I love that. I just love
watch
that.
out for me, by golly.
Yeah.
No, what I'll do is I'll talk to them.
You know, I would love to hear the opinion of our listeners. I know we have listeners out there. Don't we come out there and drag you to the telephone and dial for you?
You know,
that's embarrassing.
Our
you know?
listener called a little while ago. He had to pick up the kids at the pool, but he'll be back. Sure.
Okay, all right, thanks. I feel so much better.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll beat that to death. So this gun control thing is a ruse. You know, let's just get out of here.
Yeah.
You know, okay.
Good idea.
Visit our site at libertytalkradio.com to join the blog. Now, here's Joe.
Joe, actually, it's Sally again. Sorry, people. Joe, I have a question.
Sure.
Do you think these headphones make me look fat?
What? Absolutely not. They compress your head.
Oh, okay, good. I feel so much better. So much better.
We do have a call. Let's take a call. It's somebody on the line. They've been holding for 5 minutes. Let's take that call.
Okay.
Caller, you're on the air.
Hello, Joe. Is this the Joe with the machine gun mine that shoots from the hip?
You bet. Welcome to Liberty Talk Radio.
And it's good to be here. Listen, I want to say that I agree with you on the gun control issue. It's a farce, but I have two questions for you. One,
sure.
You keep using, and I'm not saying I disagree, but you use the term the government. So here's the question: is it liberals against gun control or conservatives against gun control?
Oh, we typically attribute gun controls with liberals, but KW.
Well, I'm just asking from
the
standpoint.
Yeah, typically liberals and the conservative. But let me add them. When there's negotiations in the back room, we don't know who's saying what. I mean, outwardly, what we see, the conservatives are against gun control and the liberals are for. But that's for us to see. We don't know if that's the case when they actually vote.
Okay, well, I appreciate that answer, because one thing I see, liberal, Democrat, Republican, conservative, Republican, whatever, I don't think that the leadership really reflects, whichever side of the fence you're on, I don't think they reflect the average guy's views for the most part.
They never do. They reflect the views of the money changers, not you and I. I don't care what the subject is, but go ahead, KW.
Because I think you could go in the most liberal part of the USA, and if they were having crime problems, I think that group of people would be for safety, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They may change some of the laws and regulations about guns,
right, but
I think they would be for it. And the other question is, assuming that at some point in time they put the laws in effect that do affect gun control, do you think that will affect us in terms of you can't get a gun? Will they take the guns we have? What do you think?
Oh no, it'll be a slow process in which first you have to go through more hoops and jingles, whatever, to get a gun. Then you'll have to register more. The cost will go up. It'll be a slow, insidious process to the point where you don't want till people will be owning guns that are illegal. Then people will be placed in jail and arrested, and be made a big deal about it. It will take about 5 or 10 years for total confiscation. Maybe, I don't know, 10, but at least 5 years for total confiscation. And what they will do is there will be false flag attacks where they go, see, if they didn't have those guns, this wouldn't have happened, and they get more and more people on board. This all has to do with our National Education Association school system, our government school system that develops people to not to think or to learn, but to just be compliant and obedient to government authority, and to be good consumers. Period. Nothing else.
I agree 100%. Therefore, I may have a friend of mine steal my gun and file the serial numbers off, report them stolen, and then get them back.
Okay. All right, Kay. Good. We have to go. We have other people on the line. Okay.
Have a good one, my friend.
Thank you so much for calling. Right.
And you do look thin.
Thank you.
You're a good man, KW. Okay. Bill, you're on the air.
Hello, Joe and Sally. Thank you for taking my call.
Hi there.
Just had a quick on the shootings in Aurora, as tragic as that is. I think one of the real tragedies is that there wasn't somebody with concealed carry in that auditorium that could have taken that guy down before he killed so many and hurt so many. And I think that's really the strongest argument we've got for Second Amendment rights is that I would think that there would be less people killed by guns in the United States if more people were concealed carry, trained and licensed properly, but carrying to take down somebody that goes berserk like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
When someone goes berserk, they go to places like schools, fur cafeterias, nursing homes. They don't do that at gun shows.
Cowards.
They don't do it at any place where there's a high probability of people owning guns, possessing guns, and knowing how to use them. But now I'm going to express my ignorance. Is Colorado a open or concealed carry state or what? Do we know?
I don't know. Mm-mm.
I don't know.
It is?
I live.
Oh.
I think it's an open carry state.
Oh, okay.
And the sorrowful part is that with that, still people did not defend themselves, and I'm sure there were people in that movie theater that must have had guns, but they must have been. I mean, you're in a movie theater, you're watching a movie, the lights are out, and all of a sudden, bingo, things happen, and it probably happened in the fraction of a second. There was no time for anyone to react at all. I mean, and I can understand, because if I was there, I don't know if I would have been able to do anything. And my wife, she's a much better shot than I am. I'm not sure if I would have ever gotten a shot off.
Well, I'm thinking if I've got a concealed carry and I'm hiding on the floor and that's going off, I'm looking at where I can get a shot off at the guy, just to prevent the so much loss of life and wounding and everything like that. So, and I lived in Colorado. I don't know, truthfully, if it's open carry, concealed carry, or whatever, but I know there's a lot of liberal politics there, and I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't anybody in the theater.
Let me ask you this. I wonder if there was one of those little signs outside the theater saying, guns prohibitive, like we see here. Now, Oklahoma is a concealed carry state. We're going to open carry in November, but any restaurant you go, they say, no guns permitted. Well, I would ask the waiter, I say, by the way, in case a gunman comes in here, are you prepared to protect me? And they go, what are you talking about? It's stupid. It's stupid. So if we obeyed the rules of then, we would leave. We say, we're going to go to the movies, but we're going to be good citizens. We're going to be very obedient again, and we're going to leave our guns home. Bingo! There we are. So I don't know what that.
Yeah, well, that's a wrong law to have signs like that. I think it's just a wrong perspective that guns hurt more people than they protect.
Yeah. Okay, Bill. Thanks a lot for calling Liberty Talk Radio. I certainly appreciate it. Okay, and you keep on being a good, loyal listener. Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for calling.
I think they're all valid points. I think we beat this.
It's kind of depressing. Why don't we talk about something?
All right, let's talk about something
different
uplifting.
that's depressing, as well. I'll give you a quote from Albert Einstein. He said, "Try not to become a man of success, but a man of value." Isn't that beautiful? And of course, ladies, man is. That means
I think that means that people just chase the money, versus being, doing something
be someone of value.
Right.
Well, a week or so ago, of course, President Obama gave a speech in Roanoke, Virginia, and it was based on success. And he said, quote, "If you have a business, you didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen," end quote. Now, I think that's not going to be a very famous quote. Maybe infamous. Yeah. But what do you say, Joe?
I don't know if anything ever got me more angry. I'm in business for myself. My business failed 3 times.
What?
And when it did, that means working 24 hours a day, doing everything yourself. Being on the road. I recall sleeping in a trailer, in a technical trailer on the side of the road, not even knowing where I am, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, trying to find my client, that I had to do all the work day and night because I didn't have the money to pay people. Now, eventually, we worked out of it. My wife and I worked. She's an audiologist, but she also assisted me, and from time to time, and I assist her in her audiology practice. Right? Nobody was there. I was all by myself. There was no one helping me out.
You know what? Me too. I had my own business, and nobody even gave me money. Well, oh, wait, let me take that back. The government did give me my first year. My adjusted gross income was $636. They gave me $50 for filing a tax return.
Well, see, you've done it. You've done a great
so
job.
does that
You've done
make
a great
me
job,
a
right.
liberal now?
Well, the thing is that what we don't discuss is, first of all, it's incredibly that very few people can do that, can be in business for themselves. And it takes a tremendous strive and sometimes tremendous stupidity to continue going. And you believe me, you are alone. You really are alone. And they say, well, someone built the roads. No, wait a minute. Someone built the roads, but you paid for those roads. You paid for them. There's someone built them, but you paid for those roads. So don't tell me someone gave me a road. No one built a road there. Said, by the way, of my own goodness, I built this road. Now you can your trucks can deliver food or product or whatever the case may be. You paid for those roads. You got nothing for it. And what they don't say is that the people in America, entrepreneurs in America, did not succeed because of the state. They succeeded in spite of the state. If there's any obstacle that you have in business other than competition, it is the government. And the government is in your face all the time, preventing you from being successful. So we are successful in spite of it. In fact, he was absolutely wrong. And what I really dislike is the fact that the disrespect that he showed my father. My father came here through Ellis Island back in the late 1938. He came right, during World War II. He came here, left his family because they were starving there. There was war-torn Europe. They saw what was going to happen. He came here all by himself. He came here and he had no money at all, didn't speak the language, and he went into business for himself because he couldn't get a job. Now, are you telling me he was, my father eventually was successful. He had a factory, a ladies' glove factory, when women used to wear gloves in New York on 1st Avenue between 123rd and 124th, built it to 200 employees. You being the state did that?
Wow.
I mean, come on. I saw my father suffer when I was a kid. And you know what happened? After he had the factory going for a while, the mayor came over and said, you have to move because we're going to demolish the whole building. Right? Now, he created 200 jobs in the neighborhood. 200. Right? He demolished the building because we're going to build state-subsidized housing. So he had to shut down the whole company. He had to move everything. We moved to 124th Street up by Lexington at 3rd Avenue, right, in a smaller place. Now he's only hiring 40 or 50 people. So 150 people lost their jobs, never regained them. On the 5th floor of this rotten-infested place. And when we were there for 10 years, they came again. They said, by the way, we're knocking this building down because we're going to build state-subsidized housing. My father decided no more. They could have left the machines, left all the machines there, walked out, closed the place up. And guess what? They built all this subsidized housing. There was absolutely no jobs. No jobs were created, just free housing for people. People have lots of kids, no jobs. Crime rate went through. There was no crime in my neighborhood. My friends were Puerto Rican, black, Italian, Irish. Everyone was mixed. In other words, we accomplished what the government says we should accomplish. We did it on our own. But he is so disrespectful to my father. Said my father didn't accomplish that. He came here with nothing. He didn't even speak the language, and he became successful. And for a guy who we don't even know if he's human, because he was made by somebody. He was given all these opportunities. He was molded by the bureaucrats in Washington, never held a job, and he's telling me that my father didn't accomplish anything?
Wow.
The disrespect I can't stand, and he will not disrespect my father that way.
Exactly. There are two guys that just appeared at our doorway, and they're wearing white. Okay. And they have a little Houdini-like jacket.
All right,
I think
let's
it's
take a
for
couple
you.
of calls. I think we have Victoria.
Okay.
Victoria, is that you on the line?
Oh, yes, it is.
Thank you for calling Liberty Talk Radio. I'm sorry for shouting. What's your question or comment, please?
Oh, that's all right. I had a grandfather who came through Ellis Island, and I say, go for it, go for it, go for it. I'm right there with you. I was calling, though, about the shooting in Colorado, and did you establish that they are open carry?
Yes, apparently they are. It's open carry.
Well,
Right.
the reason, though, that nobody defended, apart from the fact that, it was dark, it was a theater, it was unexpected, was because the guy was, Wiley Fox, and he threw the tear gas in, and that makes people panic.
Oh,
they
that's
can't
right.
breathe. They
Okay.
can't.
Right.
They can't. They're blinded. All of those things.
Right.
And so, he really thought it through well.
Yeah, he did. Well, thanks. Thank you.
Well,
I mean,
and-
that clarified that. Sally, you have a comment on
And
that?
yeah, Victoria, also on that, people thought that was part of the show. That would
right.
have been
Oh,
my
my gosh.
reaction.
Yeah.
Because you're going to that kind of a show and somebody walks in dressed up, you think it's a costume.
Well, yeah. My
Sure.
wife and I always go to the
Yeah.
reenactment of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Exactly.
We go there, we get up and we dance this to the left, to the right, stuff like.
Yeah.
Really, people are accustomed to that today, especially 3D and all that.
Well,
That's a good point.
I have to tell you, I have it through some pretty direct sources that they're going to ban all costumes in these kinds of in these theaters. They're not going to allow those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate that you're bringing out the statistical facts, which there's a certain level of absurdity. There's not to undermine the horror of what actually took place, but what the kinds of decisions we make based on certain incidents, they're really not proportional.
Right. I agree.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you so much, Virginia. Victoria, rather.
Victoria.
See, my father's name was Victor. His name is Victorio. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Victoria. Okay, thank you for calling Liberty Talk Radio. Thank you for your listenership. Surely appreciate it.
I was gonna call her Vicky. I don't know.
Stan, you're on the air.
Yeah, listen, we're talking about the president's speech this week. I just think that the only thing more ridiculous than that comment of saying that, well, everybody had help, this and that, because you're right. They just, when people go into business for themselves, they are on their own. The only thing more ridiculous than saying that is not explaining it further. And I really think that's an indication as to how his thought process works. And really, most of the things this guy says, they're just sound bites. They're meant for easy digestion, but they mean nothing. They're like eating, a Twix bar or something. There's no nutrition in any of that, and,
Yeah.
and that's most
that's
of
a
what
great
he
analogy.
said. The other thing that I just can't believe is how much longer is this going to go on?
Yeah.
We have to sit here and listen to this guy week after week after week. And, love or hate Mitt Romney, I'm not a big fan of that guy, but the worst thing they can say about this guy is that he was successful. Think about that.
Yeah.
In
What's
terms
wrong
of-
with that?
he's a good-looking guy. He should have women at every port. I mean, 10 or 100 or 1,000.
That's what we need. Another Clinton.
They
No, I mean,
cannot find anything like that, so they have to assail his work record.
Yeah.
And think about that in relation
point.
to his speech.
Yeah.
That said, you can't do it alone.
Yeah.
Everybody had help along the way.
Yeah.
This guy needs to leave.
Right.
I mean, he
Right.
needs to get gone
Yeah.
once and for all. And the thing is, the sky isn't falling yet, but you better get out your crash helmet because it's coming.
Oh, boy.
It's coming.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, okay. Stan, thanks a lot. Whenever I
Thanks
see
for that.
now President Obama, I think of R2D2. Thank you very much for calling.
R2D2.
I do. I don't see him as human. I see him as a programmed person. I really do. I mean, I'm not. I know tinfoil head, the whole bit. But I do.
Well-
He gets there and he's memorized and he says, "This is what you say," and he is a product. He is just. He's like a remote control person. That's all he is.
Right now,
He
we're
should scare the hell out of everybody.
right now until the election in November. We're watching two machines at work. It'd be nice to know these people as just regular people, but we're looking at the machine, the
Yeah.
political machine that makes, with all of their people around them saying, you need to say this, say that, do this, do that, walk this way, wear this.
If I was at a conference where Barack Obama gave this speech about, you didn't do it on your own, I'd say, what about all the people who didn't do anything? They had the same opportunity. Why didn't they do it?
The
You mean
unsuccessful people?
Yeah, the unsuccessful. Well, the people. No, not the unsuccessful. You mean if you don't do anything, you're not unsuccessful. You did nothing. What about the people? I appreciate the fact that there are people who try to succeed and fail. I mean, at least they try. I give them credit. I'm talking about the people who never tried and decided they'll just go on unemployment for a while and for a couple of years. Right? What about those people? Are those people the successful ones? Someone's got to be a success. Now, if the person who is successful, who puts their money on the line, puts their time and energy, reputation on the line to succeed and fails, that is a tough thing to do. I've done that. I tell you, you want to just commit Harry-Carry. You just can't stand yourself. It's tough. So you mean you want me to give more credit for the person who says, I did nothing, just watch the other guy fail? Well, he gets all the credit? This is insane. This whole stupid thing is insane.
Exactly.
We got to take a break. I need a cup of coffee.
You're listening to Liberty Talk Radio.
Send us comments as well at comments@libertytalkradio.com. And don't forget, we broadcast the video portion of this show, well, the whole show, on the website, which is libertytalkradio.com.
That's right. Yeah, they can see my beautiful face.
I know, and I want to show them my T-shirt. You know.
Oh yeah, hot and sexy.
I'm hot. I don't mean I'm hot, foxy hot. I'm just hot.
She's temperature.
It's killing me, this weather. So let's hear from you too, Phoenix.
Okay, yeah,
What about
Phoenix,
hot?
come on
Man.
here. Listen, people, we say now people are sheeple, Sheeple. They're sheep, they follow
What
the
do you
government.
mean?
Whatever the government says they'll do, they just follow, right? I have a different take on it. Of course, I always have a different take on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No.
My wife and I were on vacation a couple weeks ago, and I picked up a book on zombies. And it's how to be a zombie. And I've decided,
What?
we're not sheeple. We're becoming zombies. We really are. We just have better makeup. That's all. We are zombies. From now on, I'm going to call everybody a zombie. And let's say we have somebody on the line. Oh, no, we don't have somebody. We have someone on the line, but okay. Can I pick that up?
Joe,
I can pick that up.
I thought you were from the planet Zork.
Plague Zorg, that is correct.
That's where you were hatched.
No zombies on there. No zombies at all.
zombies,
No.
really?
Yeah, let's take this call.
Okay.
Okay. Brad, you're on the air.
Hey, how are you doing today?
Okay, great.
You're talking about having a carry concealed weapon. What about that guy that was at that internet cafe, that 71-year-old man, and the two robbers came in and he started shooting at him? Just think how many people could have been killed there if he wouldn't have been there.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, the number of people, Brad, that are saved every year. We don't have exact statistics, but I've read articles who've tried to gather the statistics. And you have to extrapolate the numbers. And they said that every year, tens of thousands of people are saved, lives are saved, women are not raped, etc., because of possession of a gun, not firing a gun, possession of a gun, versus the infinitesimally small number of people who may be killed by a crazy like this guy, in the movie theater, which is obviously a tragedy. But remember, most deaths are caused by gang members who are dealing in drugs. So I mean, it's almost a non-issue at this point.
Thanks for
Folks,
calling.
this is it. Boy,
fast
this
hour.
went fast. Yeah. Next week, we're going to be talking about how you divorce yourself from the system. And do I have a surprise for you, Sally, and everybody else?
Listening
Okay?
to Liberty Talk Radio, the voice of freedom with Joe Cristiano.